Welcome to the Bella Vista Gardening Program. I'm Geri Hoerner, and joining me today is Linda Neymeyer. And Linda's a fellow member of the Bella Vista Garden Club. And we're going to be talking about decorating with, for the holidays, with things from your garden, or from the woods, or from the grocery store. We're going to do the natural way of decorating for Christmas and for the holidays. So Linda is an award-winning designer. She has won many blue ribbons in flower shows in Bella Vista and in the state in Little Rock. And she also has a national publication of one of her designs in a national calendar published by the National Garden Club. So we're real proud of Linda and she's just got so much creativity. And so we're going to be showing you some things today. We're going to be talking about what to do in your garden in December. But mainly we want to talk about using things in your garden and not buying things from China.
Exactly.
Or other countries, and you can decorate using your the things in your garden. So Linda's got several things put together she can tell us about.
Well, I do have a few different kinds of arrangements, and these can all be made easily with things that actually nature has recently been freeze drying for us. When you go on a walk around your yard, around the neighborhood, when you have a few things left in your garden, you might find that you could put them together in just what we call a bunch arrangement. You just sort of take your taller items, something that's nice and dried already. If it's fresh, hang it upside down in a cool place and let it dry.
It takes about 2 weeks or so to dry.
About 2 weeks. If it's already fairly dry, you can just go ahead and make your arrangement, especially if you have visitors. This is a wonderful thing to do with your grandchildren. Find things that they like around your neighborhood and just keep adding on. Just go around your circle, kind of starting higher and then adding lower as you go around. You can then put a wire to hold everything together, and just any kind of a nice bow will cover that wire. And then cut the bottom off flat so it will stand, and you won't even need a container for it. And another way to do the very same thing is just kind of put it in a little, like a little broom. On the back you can see these are just twigs. Then add some greenery, a little ribbon, and you can use artificial flowers if you don't have any dried. This one has little bells for the season, so if you hang it on your front door, it makes a nice little entry welcoming sound.
Right. Now this one's more for fall, and
Yes.
you could add things to this to make it Christmassy. You can go right from fall to your Christmas by adding, we had some gold
you could put
wheat.
some gold
You could put
spray
little
things.
ornaments in there.
Yes.
You can wire some ornaments and stick ornaments in there, so it would turn from your fall decoration into your Christmas decoration, and be a homey Christmas decoration.
Yes. And if you want to spruce it up just a little bit, add a little gold paint, a little white paint to make it look like snow. That'll carry the season, so what you started in autumn can carry right through to your New Year's Eve party.
Right, right. So multi-purpose, that's what we like, it's multi-purpose arrangements. So.
Well, there's other kinds of things you can do in a similar way with these dried items, and this is one of those. You can buy these wreaths, like this heart wreath, somewhere like Hobby Lobby, and then put a smaller one inside, so you're basically framing your wreath. Then add some straw flowers, little pine cones, some dried evergreen, some holly leaves, and that makes a very unique piece that's not difficult to make at all. You can have these pieces ready, and then if you have grandchildren come, they can help you put this together, and this is a way to make memories that will last for a long, long time.
Right. So we do have a lot of grandchildren
This
visiting.
is a lot of visitors this time of year.
Yeah.
This is another type of wreath, not the grapevine. They usually call this a rattan wreath, and you can just go out and find different, this is just cedar. I mean, we have cedar all over the village, and just stick that in between, between the spaces, and keep adding on with whatever you find. You don't have to go around the whole wreath. You can just start on the side. I put a little bow on here to give it an accent. And then this is a little bit of Nandina. They have pretty leaves in the fall.
They
that
keep
turn
so
red.
well too.
They do last
dry
a
well.
long time.
And then the Nandina berries you can use also.
And those dry for a long time, don't they, Geri?
These are the ones that were just cut today. And you can see they're pretty like an orangey red. And then these were cut last year. And they're more of a deeper red as they dry. So these were from last year. They're still a little fragile, but they're still usable. And then these are from this year. So you can see how they dry naturally from an orangey red to a deep red. So we probably would need the deep red to go with the Nandina on this one.
I think it would look really nice with
Yeah.
it. Now, we've used kind of a sparkly bow, and that helps give it a little more updated look, even though it's all natural.
Right, and then the wheat in there would be pretty too, the gold wheat
Yes.
to come with the gold bow.
So this is a little more, if you put those in, you could make a little height there. And you don't even have to have enough materials to go all the way around. Just that on your door is enough, and you can smell the cedar, and this is so easy. Your youngest grandchildren could help you with this very easily. And this is something you could keep for a long time.
Right.
You can even get these little small wreaths and use those even like candle rings with the greenery around. Put your candle in the middle, and then that would make a wonderful Christmas decoration for your table.
Right. Now also the other thing I have is something you can use for with cranberries to decorate with for the season. And what I have here is two vases. They're both glass vases. And if you don't have a smaller glass vase to go in your large glass vase, you can use like an olive jar would work in there, anything that'll fit inside. So you start with your two vases and then start with your line material, your twigs. I just pulled some twigs. I think this is cherry out of the garden. And then this, I believe, is oak. So I have rice in this first little holder. You can use anything to hold your twigs, rocks, rice. I don't use foam in a container like this because it's too hard to get the foam in. But there is a florist foam or craft foam to put your dried materials in. It's pretty hard. It's hard to cut into a circle. So this would be great for a basket or, you know, another container. Also the florist foam. This is the florist foam. This is for the fresh material. You soak this in water, put it in a bucket, let it just drop to the bottom like overnight. So you want this totally soaked. And then your fresh flowers, when you put it in here, will keep for a long time. So this is Oasis. You can get this at florist, or some of the box stores have it, but it's better from the florist. It's a better quality. So those are two things you can use to attach your flowers. So this is we're just going to do a little red and white container here. And like I said, you could spray these gold, brass, copper, any color that you're using for your decorations. Some people use brass, some people use gold, some people use silver. And we're just doing a container full of twigs. And then I also sprayed the this is the bloom, or the seed pod from, I don't know if you could see this very well. This is the seed pod from the magnolia, and I sprayed that red, and that could just be your center focal point in the middle. Okay. Then I have cranberries. So once you just put the cranberries around the outside, it hides your outside container. It just gives you a lot of color for the season, and it doesn't take very long. Just fill that totally up with your cranberries, and these will keep probably through your season.
Oops.
And this is good. You can do this with the kids too, because kids love to work with cranberries and balls
And they get all
know,
over your kitchen.
and they
that
get it
way.
all over your kitchen. Yeah,
It's
they can.
more fun.
More fun. A lot of memories. But anyway, after we get them all in there, it covers up your inside, and you've got a nice, colorful arrangement for the holidays.
And inexpensive.
And inexpensive. And like I said, we're not buying things from China, and the economy will love you for not.
Yes. And when you get
Exporting our
done with
money.
this, the birds love the berries. So
Oh, yeah.
you can feed the birds too.
And you can take this outside, take these berries outside, and the animals love it. So that's your container there. So
Very easy.
real simple.
Okay.
And then we also, pine cones are something we use a lot of in the holiday season.
This is a pine cone wreath. It's actually made on a base that's covered with cardboard. You can find these bases made out of styrofoam at any of your hobby supply stores. These are actually hot glued onto the form, and it's very sturdy because of that cardboard base on the back. They've also, there's little pieces of lichen that you can find, bark from trees, there's small sticks. I mean, you can add almost anything that you might find around your home, in your yard this time of year when you're cleaning up. You probably have quite a bit of this material just available. You can add it either with the hot glue, or you can put picks, the floral picks wired to a group of cones and stick them in. You can even use, this one's been wired to a plastic toothpick. So you can see that these items are probably something you've already got at home, and it's easy when you have grandchildren come over. This is just a really fun project, and you can hardly do it wrong, so
Right.
it's
Now,
so much fun.
How old is that wreath?
Well, this is a newer update. I've talked to Geri about
Oh.
one that I have. My grandma made for me in high school, when I was in high school, and I still have it. So these last a long time. The really interesting part of the one she made was, instead of toothpicks, she used pieces of old hair curlers, because that's what they had. So
Oh, those old metal hair clips.
those metal hair clips that they used
We
to
don't know
have.
what to do with anymore.
They're kind of like these floral picks that you buy, but she used, and she covered the whole base with one of her old nylon stockings so that it would all hold together. She's a very resourceful lady.
And how many years ago was that?
Then you'd know how old I was.
Oh,
A couple, 3 decades.
3
let's
decades
say.
ago. Well, these things will last forever. That's the nice part about
That's
them.
really
They do last
true.
a long time. So,
And then
and
we
I
also
think you have
some, this is a little bit, this isn't dried, this is one you can make that's fresh. I like to set a compote on a larger base. This is just a glass tray, and I like to set it right on the bottom here, put this on top. Because it has ridges, it's quite stable. Then all you need, go to the grocery store, get some fruit that's in season. There's so many things in season right now. And you can just, you can, if you have, this is dry foam like Geri was showing us, you can secure it in the bowl with this florist tape if
there's
it's not
two, Yeah,
stable.
we have 2 kinds here. One is a real sticky one that you get from the florist. And I'm not, is that from the florist or Hobby
No,
Lobby?
this is just the regular kind.
Yeah, this is you can get this from the florist, and it'll stick. If everything's dry, you put it on, but then the water won't loosen it.
You put
So-
that on before you get any moisture
Right,
on.
put it on dry.
But, okay, I like to do it the lazy way. The lazy way is when your fruit is of the right size, that you can just kind of put one on each side here and then hold the foam in place by going around the fruit. Let me try that a little different. It kind of tells you where it wants to fall, and you just keep working with your fruit. Different sizes are very helpful because you're going to have little areas that won't hold a larger piece. And you can put a toothpick into the fruit like this and then insert it into the foam so that when you get up here on the top, your pieces will hold together real stable. And then to cover up the the top, I like to use a nice long drape of grapes, and that one didn't want to do it. These will kind of just hang over the edge.
I think it's going to go this way.
Okay, yeah, it does what it wants to do. You just let it.
Sometimes nature just tells you what
Yes.
to do.
And we have, what did I do with my little, you can take some little bows, and that can hide where you have gaps, or like on that grape where there's some extra that you don't want to show. You can fill this in with little bows. And also this kind of greenery, this is just off of a U, is good if you insert it around the edge of the bowl. It gives it a little bit of a festive look, and you can, this is so flexible. You can just bend it to make it fit right in there. So there we go. Now you can also take an egg white and brush this with egg white, all of your fruits, and then sprinkle very fine sugar over the top if you like that sugared holiday fruit look. The only thing about that, you shouldn't eat the fruit after that because of the raw egg being on it. But that will last for several days, and if the sugar even starts to kind of look like it's maybe not holding well, you can go ahead and add more sugar on it, and it will still adhere over time.
Yeah, it really gives it a festive look when it sparkles with the sugar.
The kids love it. You know,
Yeah.
they think it's just like sugar plum fairies in the stories. So that's true.
Right.
And Geri knows how to do some glycerin
Well, I have a
use.
sample of some of the greenery you get from the box stores and from the florist. This is Italian ruscus, and this comes in a lot of your arrangements, and it holds up so well that I love to use this. But after the holidays, what you can do once you take it out of your arrangement, this is the same thing, only this has been glycerinized. And what you do is you take 2 parts water to 1 part glycerin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll just put this in a vase with the 2 parts water, 1 part glycerin, and then put it like in a dark place, maybe a dark bathroom you don't go into or something, for about 2 weeks. And it does dry, but it's still flexible enough, so it's not brittle. So this is pretty flexible, but it's dried, and this will last forever. Then what you can do is you can either spray it gold, silver, bronze. You can spray it green again if you want it green. So these will last for a long time, and like I said, it's just such a wonderful material to use and to keep. So that's a good way to preserve things. So along with drying, just turning upside down in your garage or in a closet or someplace dark, you can also glycerinize materials and save them that way. And I think the other thing is to press flowers, but pressed flowers don't work too well with your decorations because they're going to be flat. So the pressed flowers, when you preserve flowers by pressing them, it's better to use like on note cards or in picture frames or something like that. But you can preserve a lot of the things from the garden by pressing them or drying them or putting them in glycerin. So, and if you have something that's like a woody stem, what you might want to do is just kind of take a hammer and hammer this stem a little bit so it's a little shredded, and then it'll take the moisture up easier. So once it's like shredded and opened, it'll take more of that moisture and that glycerin up. So that's a good thing to do. And like I said, we also talked about different mechanics with these foam. You also have the needle points. I don't know if you have any of these from your grandmother or your mother, but these needle points are just like little needles sticking in here. And when you put this into a container, you can put your plant material right in there, and they'll hold. They'll just stay right where you put them. And this one has like a container that will hold water. You can just put your water right in there. It'll keep your flowers fresh. Or this one could be glued into a tuna can. Just take a tuna can, glue this in there, spray it black, and you've got a little container. You can spray it green, so you have a little container, and then this can be used in a larger container. Say if you use a basket, you can just put it right in the basket. And it's best to get these from flea markets and
The old ones.
home sales and everything, because they're heavy. The newer ones aren't as heavy. You need something heavy to hold those plants in place. So needle points are a wonderful thing to use with decorating. So.
And the mister, she has a mister there.
Right.
That's helpful. Like if you do have a fresh arrangement like this, you can go ahead and just mist it every so often, and that will just kind of keep it, there we go.
Keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh, and especially right before company comes, it just makes it look like it's just fresh out of the crisper. And these will last maybe a week.
Oh, at least, yeah.
I think it probably
your
would.
fruit will last. And like I said, you can also mist your greens when you have your fresh greens on a wreath. If you mist those, they'll last a little longer too, and that scent will just keep coming out. So misters are really good. You can use a Windex bottle or a spray bottle. You don't have to buy a mister, but you can use anything like that. So.
And one last thing I wanted to mention was, this is a silk arrangement that I purchased. It was on clearance because when I purchased it, it was only this high. And so it was really out of proportion to the big heavy container. You can go ahead and get some of these dried things out of your garden, make it a better arrangement. I mean, this was on clearance because it wasn't very attractive. So you can get it with an unattractive arrangement and improve upon it with your own dried materials. So that's another way to recycle and reuse.
Right, you want to take your container, your arrangement should be 1.5 to 2 times the size of your container. So when you see these arrangements that look like they're out of proportion, it's because they haven't used enough tall material in these large vases. But you can extend them with things. And again, this could be something you could turn into a Christmas arrangement by putting in the gold weed, or you could put little ornaments, stick little ornaments in there on a wire, just wire them in. You could put little ornaments, and you could make it a Christmas decoration, and then after Christmas take them out and you got it back for fall.
Exactly.
So it'll be multi-purpose. So the more things you can use, the better. So anyway, I think the other thing we have is the gourds. These will go from fall to Christmas too. Now these are just gourds that I had dried in the fall. And then I sprayed them. These are sprayed copper. This is a copper. These I had sprayed gold. But over the years, this is several years ago, and over the years they have kind of patinaed, right. So they're kind of like an antique look now. But the gourds are such interesting shapes. They're such cute little shapes for gourds. And when you buy these little gourds, put them in a little basket for the fall, then you just dry them and then you spray them for the winter. So it doesn't take long. The only thing you have to watch is if it starts getting a little mold growth on there sometimes. You just give them a little bath in like 1 part bleach and about 8 parts of water, and just give them a little bleach bath, and that'll take that growth off there. Then let them dry good and then spray them. So these, I use these all the time in the house.
They last forever, don't they?
Another thing lasts forever. So we're into lasting forever.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm hoping you got a lot of good information about decorating. And Linda's, just like I said, such a great decorator.
See, she doesn't pay me. She just compliments real well.
But we're going to have our flower show in June, and we're going to be talking about that in May, and probably early before that. But we'll have our flower show again in June, and Linda's our chairman, so we're going to have a wonderful flower show.
We'll hope to.
Yeah. So the other thing we need to talk about is what to do in your garden for December. Of course, December, our gardens are kind of at rest, but there's still some things we need to pay attention to. The annuals are gone unless you planted pansies, and be sure they're mulched and watch their water if it doesn't rain. Kind of make sure they have water. But that's about all we have is annuals, is the pansies. And some snapdragons. Some of my snapdragons are still blooming.
Oh, amazing.
So, and then bulbs. Linda, you got a lot of bulbs, don't you?
Well, this is a wonderful time to buy bulbs because they're on clearance right now, and the ground is not frozen hard, but it's getting very cold at night, which is really good for the bulbs. So go ahead and get those, then water them well in, and try to mulch them, and you should have a really beautiful garden in the spring.
Right.
Also, what do you need to do with your roses now, Geri?
Well, the roses, you can't do much with them. You should have already trimmed them a little bit if they were going to rock in the wind. But actually, just after the first couple freezes, you just want to mulch them and wait till March to do anything with the roses. And then, of course, your lawns, you got to keep those leaves off the lawn.
Oh, they're everywhere this time of year. But really, a wonderful thing to do with all those leaves is kind of use a lawnmower or something else to chop those up. And they make a wonderful mulch for your beds. I did this last year. I can put my hand way down in the dirt, believe it or not. It really composts that soil so nice, and you get natural fertilizer. You're ready to go in the fall, and you don't have to bag the leaves and take them up to the curb and make other, uses for our spending fuel we don't need.
That's right.
Go ahead and keep your bushes, especially any new ones, watered really well and mulch the ground around them, because if we have another winter like last year, we need to protect them.
Now, that mulch just keeps them from thawing and heaving, and they'll get cold and they'll get warm, and they just heave out of the ground. So your tropicals and houseplants, now your houseplants still need water for the winter, but they don't need as much water as the summertime. But, kind of watch for your pests if you have any spider mites or any pests inside, and you can spray them with insecticidal soap. And your poinsettias that you get, be sure to keep them evenly moist. I have a hard time with poinsettias, but they need quite a bit of light, but no direct sunlight, and they don't like any drafts. So don't have them close to a vent, your heat vent pouring on them. So keep them out of drafts, keep them evenly watered, and they'll last a long time.
They will, yeah.
So, and then perennials, I still have a few mums showing color early December. So. Some people leave them on, leave all the perennials go to seed or whatever for the birds, and then the birds can eat off the seed pods and so forth. So, but your perennials, some people cut them back, some people just leave them for the birds, and we do need to feed the birds.
Well, and the heads of mums are great to leave on. They're not that attractive, but the birds do eat those through the winter. There's also suet and all the bird seed mixes that you see. I believe on the Bella Vista Garden Club website, there is a recipe for different suet mixtures that you can do for your birds.
Just make it out of peanut butter, lard, or something like that.
And
they
keep
need
some water.
Yeah, they do need water over the winter also. So kind of monitor if you have a little saucer you can put out and make sure it doesn't freeze. If it freezes, come back, go in and get some other water and make it available for the birds in the winter. And mainly you just want to enjoy the garden at rest, and then when it snows you can sit and watch the birds, or just you can sit for hours watching those birds in the snow, and the cardinals just stand out against that white background. So hopefully we won't get too much snow this year, we'll see. But anyway, I wanted to let you know if there's any other gardening question, you want to do some research on gardening, the Bella Vista Garden Club has a wonderful website. It's just bellavistagardenclub.com. The Master Gardeners website has been, I think, scrolled on the screen, and they have wonderful information. That's bentoncountygardening.org, and you just look up all kinds of information while it's too cold to work outside.
Perfect.
So, well, Linda, thank you so much for sharing all of this
pleasure.
with you, and I'm hoping that that you can make some nice Christmas decorations with things from your garden, and then when you do see them, you'll think, oh, that was blooming, and just brings back memories of your garden in the winter when it's at rest. So, again, thank you so much,
thank
and
you,
I
Geri.
hope you join us next month, and we'll see you then in January, the new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Till
New Year.
then.